I'm joined alongside Kelly Tripucka, JSBL legend. Kelly, first of all, how are you doing? It's great to see you.
I'm doing very well. It's nice to be here, and certainly for this occasion, I'd come out to do anything for Artstock.
So the Artstock Royal Rumble, it's the first time that we're having this tournament. When you heard that Greg was putting this together, the format, stuff like that, did you like the rules? Were you a fan of this new in-season tournament?
Well, again, something that we're not used to from my time, but certainly a good idea. We've seen, something like this in other leagues. I understand trying to pique some interest and keep it exciting during the course of a regular season, and to have a in-season tournament and to honor Artstock. I think all the things that Greg was able to put together, the league was able to put together, is a good thing for the league.
Without a doubt. The accolades that I have here for you, one piece of paper doesn't even do enough justice. A two-time consensus All-American at Notre Dame, drafted 12th overall to the Detroit Pistons in the NBA draft, two-time NBA All-Star. What is all of that like compared here at the JSBL, and how has the game shifted from when you played here at the JSBL compared to now?
Nothing's the same. When I played NBA-wise, just to touch on that subject real quick, a little bit different than the way they play now and the way the league is, and I wish I was playing as far as the money is concerned, because they're giving away a lot of money these days. But you know what? No matter what, I wouldn't trade anything for the time period that I played in the 80s and early 90s. You go back to, Bird and Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Keem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, on and on. I could name a million guys. So that NBA was the greatest period, and I'll argue that with anybody that wants to argue with me. So I was fortunate in that regard. As far as playing in the JSBL back then, same thing. Totally different. Games were outside at the headliner. We enjoyed that. You couldn't get these kids to play outside these days. There's no way. You're on the macadam. I had a knee replacement about 5 years ago. I just had my shoulder replaced. I'm sure the knee had something to do with playing outside, but that's what you did. You had to play, and we never thought two things of it. You wouldn't even be allowed to play outside now if some of these teams had you. But, boy, we look forward to coming down twice a week outside the headliner, getting used to the wind and whatever other weather conditions, and manholes at one end. You had tin backboards, but I knew those like the back of my hand, and it was a lot of fun. The league was very good, a lot of pros, and just overall talent was very good, and we played hard. That was it. Everybody played to win, and that's the most important thing. We gave it 110%, and these games were just as important as games we played in the NBA.
Like you said, not only were the conditions different, but I bet the style was different too. You see all these teams getting up and down, not a lot of defense. I imagine it was a lot more hard-nosed, physical.
Oh, it was very physical, very, very physical. We had, I was just watching a little bit of the first game there. I said, there's not a lot of big guys in this game. They were all guards and three-point shots. No, we tried to run offenses. We tried a lot of pin downs and screen across and, half-court basketball and try to pound it inside. And we had guys that could shoot, but again, you're shooting outdoors. If you're going to shoot outdoors, you better be in a position, particularly with the wind and whatever else was going on. You better make them. So, it was just a different style of basketball and a very fun basketball. And we used to get crowds. That place outside the headliner was packed side to side and end to end. And met a couple of people here tonight that used to come watch the games at the headliner. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of great basketball, and a lot of great memories.
So 5 JSBL championships in your tenure.
I don't even remember.
1 with Royal Manor, 4 with Birch Hill.
Yeah,
but I know what you do remember. You got to play alongside your brothers, TK, Todd, and Chris. What was that like?
Well, TK and I were the ones that originally came down because we were 2 years apart. We played in high school together. I was a sophomore. He was a senior. And then he went on to Fordham, and I had 2 more years of high school, and we did very well. Never won a championship, but at the same time, we were always kind of connected. So TK and I were looking to play because we had played up in Jersey City with Bob Hurley Seniors, ran a league, and that was great. Glass backboards outside, but that was for college kids. And you couldn't play as college kids down here in the Jersey Shore League. So once I graduated from Notre Dame and got drafted in the NBA, we were looking to come to the Jersey Shore League. and we got a hold of Billy DeAngelis, who was a former NBA player and a coach and a good guy, and he put us in touch with Art Stock. We had never met Art Stock before, and the first game that we came down to actually got rained out here, and Billy introduced to Art Stock, and he wanted to have a little practice since we came all the way down from North Jersey. And I was just talking to TK. I said, I don't remember getting rained out in any game. And he said, no, it did happen the very first game we came down. So that was kind of a start of our relationship with Art Stock and how we got involved. And, once we met Art and he was putting together teams, we were never going to leave or play with anybody else. And Art became a very, very good friend. And he was not only good to us and the other guys that were on the team, he was good for the league. He saved this league more than once. Not only opening up the headliner at that time after they moved from Jerry Lynch's, but building a court. And then later on, towards the end, we left the headliner and went to the Birch Hill Swim Club, which Art Stock owned. So he saved this league a couple of times. So the league is, I'm sure you've heard enough of this already, but is very indebted to Art Stock. And he's the reason why we're having this in-season tournament and they're playing for the Art Stock belt.
Yeah, definitely not the first person to have nothing but great things to say about Art. But looking back on it, on your time at the JSBL, what is your favorite memory here?
Oh, boy, that's a hard question. I just think that the guys that I played with, because there were a lot of NBA guys that I grew up with, my brothers playing, we all became very friendly, but we were also very friendly with the guys, even though we were very competitive. We had, both had chips on our shoulders as far as competing against each other, but there were some battles out there. And when you can compete and play at the top of your game and beat a guy, and yet after the game, go inside the headliners for a few extra beverages, there was nothing better. I'm not sure why we played just basketball. I think it was more, not so much for the basketball, but for the fun afterwards. And we'd all shower together. We'd shake hands, and we'd go have, a drink, and we'd tell some tall tales about how the game went or how the season went or whatever. That was a lot of fun, and that's what made, I think, this league so much more fun back then was the camaraderie, not only the guys on your team, but your opponents as well, and, of course, the great atmosphere outside in the parking lot at the headliner and then going in and have a couple of adult beverages at the time and enjoying that as well. So it was a lot of fun. We look forward to it every summer.
I mean, some of these guys not of age, but maybe an idea they can potentially bring back.
No, these guys are way too young, so we would have to card them.
But, Kelly, thank you so much for your time and taking the time to speak with us.
I appreciate it, and just one more thing. Just, people should know that Art Stock, we think about him often. He was a great man. He was a lot of fun. He loved to win, and we were so excited to win it for him, not only once, but 4 or 5 times, whatever you said, I forgot.
5.
And the king of doers and soda is number one in our minds and our hearts.
Kelly, thank you.
Thank you very much.